Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Today, the Tigers bring their 7-game homestand to a close. They will do so on a Sunday, which means it's Kids Day here at the ballpark. We celebrate the youngest of Tigers fans. It is Game 4 in this series, Tigers and Astros. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. We are glad to have you with us here for the series finale and the homestand finale as well. And as they always say, Rod, you try and win a series each time you move along in the season, and that's what the Tigers trying to accomplish today.
It's going to be very important for them to do that against a very good Houston Astros team. They travel out west. It's always best when you travel to travel after a win. Tigers also have played their best baseball during the day. The numbers are drastically better than night games.
All right, now Anibal Sanchez on the hill today. 2 starts ago against Minnesota was awfully good, but he had a bump in the road again his last start out.
You know, this start today bodes well for Anibal Sanchez on a lot of different fronts. In 8 career starts, he's 4-1 against Houston bats, and the earned run average just a shade over 2. This Houston Astros team, they also strike out quite a bit. We know Sanchez has not had his best year, but if he slows down today with the body and he allows the arm to catch up, which means he's going to get a lot of action down in the strike zone, he throws a lot of ground balls, he'll get a lot of strikeouts today, and he should go out as the winner this afternoon against the Houston Astros bats.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios. Check in with Matt Shepard. Coming up here this afternoon at the ballpark, it's the series finale. Tigers-Astros Game 4, and it's coming up next. final game of this series. We'll check out the starting lineup for the Astros in this one, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Springer, Gonzalez, Valbuena in your top 3 spots. Gaddis, Rasmus, and Carter in the middle. Castro, Villar, and Marisnik rounding it out for the Astros. And we are underway. A swing and a miss by George Springer starts this one this afternoon.
What's new? Houston Astros swinging at the very first pitch. This is a very aggressive group, especially on first pitches that they see in any at-bat.
Springer in the series is 4 for 12. He has an RBI. The Tigers have right-hander Anibal Sanchez on the hill here this afternoon. On a gorgeous day for baseball. A little cloudy and overcast, but temperatures very pleasant today. That's fouled back out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes on George Springer.
Anibal Sanchez's ground ball rate about 63% this year. Very important for him to keep the ball down today. This is a dangerous team, the Astros, especially hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
Springer in the leadoff slot for Jose Altuve, who gets the day off today, and he looks at a ball outside. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, we kind of predicted that Altuve would get a mental day off, at least the start of the game, and he's looking like he needed some rest.
He's having a really tough series. That's a little looper into center field. It's going to drop, base hit.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Anibal Sanchez today is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Now those numbers right there not very good this year for Anibal Sanchez. We're going to focus on some other numbers. 8 career starts against Houston. He is 4-1 against the Astros, and the earned run average is at 2.15. Focus today is slowing down the body, getting the arm slot up, which will allow Sanchez to throw downhill.
Leadoff man out for the Astros. That'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez batting in the 2 slot today for Houston. And Gonzalez takes a ball inside that gets away from the catcher Holiday. That'll advance the runner. Not the type of start that Sanchez wanted.
It's a 92-mile-per-hour fastball that had some cutting action to it. Just got away from B. Holiday.
Gonzalez hit .244, a couple of hits in the series. He has knocked 1 in. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. There are the numbers on Marwin. 2 for 7. Quick RBI chance here with the man at second. Valbuena waiting on deck. See if Gonzalez at the very least can move the runner up with nobody out. And he's trying to do just that. Drags a bunt. Sanchez covering and out at first base.
That is just an outstanding play between Miguel Cabrera and also Anibal Sanchez. You really can't communicate on a play like this because Miggy has to come and get the ball in alertly with Sanchez getting to the bag, which is what his job was ultimately. It's a nice play between the two. We talked about Miguel a couple of days ago. He has not made an error at first base this year.
Well, it looks like they're going to challenge this play. Awfully close at first base. The call on the field was out. We'll see if it stands. So 2 batters into this game, we get a challenge.
Well, we had 1 batter into the game yesterday in a challenge, correct?
It was an all-time record, I think. It's going to be hard to beat 1 batter.
This one, however, and I hate to say this because you just can't tell what they're going to do in New York, but it looks like he may have been safe.
Well, this will tell you right here.
Ooh.
Safe.
He looks safe.
And he's lucky he didn't get his foot stepped on as well.
That's one of the things that we always talk about as far as sliding head first into first base. You don't necessarily get there any faster, but if you think you're going to run into that pitcher, you simply slide, as he did.
So a bunt single for Gonzalez. That'll put runners at first and third. Originally called out at first base by Ryan Blackney, and now that has been reversed. He is safe. So still nobody out. And here is Luis Valbuena batting .205, just 1 for 9 in the series. Holiday now flashing some defensive signals out in front of the plate.
He wants to tell all the defenders exactly what he will do with the ball if Gonzalez tries to steal second base. And whether he'll throw through or simply just hold it, or he might try and pick down at third.
Ball high. Valbuena batting in the 3 slot has 10 home runs this year, which leads All-American League third baseman to this point. Former Chicago Cub. Sanchez with the 1-0. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Hannibal was roughed up in his last start. An 8-1 loss to Milwaukee, went 3 2/3, allowing 7 runs.
Gave up 3 homers, back-to-back home runs to the Milwaukee Brewers.
And in that game, he threw 66 pitches, the fewest he has had in a start since April of last year. And he's gone 3-0 now on Valbuena. Here's a 3-0 pitch. That's in for a strike. Early scoring opportunity here in the first for the Astros. 1st and 3rd. And a ground ball to first. Miggy will tag the bag at first base and check the runner at third. In the meantime, Springer holding.
Let's take a look at the Detroit Tigers starting defensive alignment is presented by Bill Fox Chevrolet. Cespedes, Ghosts, and Davis in the outfield. And Romine getting the start this afternoon at the shortstop position. They expect Iglesias might be out for a couple days. Kinsler at second base, Castellanos at third, Miggy is at first, and Brian Holiday is catching Anibal Sanchez for his 3rd consecutive start.
So here is Evan Gattis now with runners at 2nd and 3rd. And Gattis shoots one down the right field line. It is slicing and landing fair. It's going to go to the corner and score 2 runs. Gattis might have a triple. He's rounding the bag. Here he comes, and he is sliding as safely with a 3-base hit, his 2nd in the series. And it's 2-0 Houston.
Gattis did something here that he doesn't normally do. It's a fastball that is off the plate. I mean, this is a ball, but he swings at the pitch, and with the long bat and the long arms able to get there and place a double perfectly down in the right field corner for a couple more RBIs. Gattis does not get a whole lot of hits, but whenever he gets one, he seems to drive in a run with it.
Yeah, another important one here. 27 RBIs now for Gattis. And very quickly out to the mound comes Brad Ausmus.
And this was a visit that had nothing to do with mechanics.
Second triple of the year for Gattis, both of them in this series. Already 2 runs on 3 hits for Houston. Bring up Colby Rasmus. Infield in a couple of steps all the way around. And Rasmus looks at a ball high.
And one thing that I've noticed here in the very first inning that Sanchez is going to have to start to do today if he's going to have any success whatsoever. He's going to have to throw some fastballs inside to make some of the hitters uncomfortable. The pitch that George Springer hit was a really good breaking ball that was down and away from him. He got a base hit up the middle, and that pitch that Gattis hit the opposite way was a ball away from him that he apparently was looking for, and he hit the opposite way as well. So Sanchez is going to have to throw some good hard fastballs inside just like that the remainder of this game.
1-2 on Rasmus. Back in the lineup today playing left field. Rasmus 1 for 8 in the series, 5 strikeouts. Here's the 1-2. high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, with runners on, opponents are batting .346 when they're in scoring position. .409 against Anibal, and that one is knocked down by Holliday. Full count now, 3-2 on Colby Rasmus. Leadoff singles by Springer and Gonzalez, a wild pitch, and then a 2-run triple. Inside, he lost it. Ball 4. Rasmus will take a walk. First and third for the Astros. Bring up Chris Carter. Well, through 20 pitches, 10 of them balls, 10 of them strikes. Carter batting .168. A couple of hits in the series, 2 out of 11 for the slugging first baseman. No, that's a balk. He can't bluff to third. That's a balk called by home plate umpire Bob Davidson.
And Anibal Sanchez clearly just not all that focused here today. And really, you could say his focus has kind of left him on a lot of starts this year.
That move was outlawed a couple of years ago, and Sanchez now allows another run to score 3-0. Also moving to second was Rasmus on the balk. Still only 1 out. Strike called. 0-1 on Chris Carter. 7 homers this year. The majority of them have come here in the month of May. 5 of the 7 this month. Swing and a miss. 0-2. That has popped up foul, back out of play. That'll get into the seats. The Astros came in today 28-16, best record in the American League West Division. They are leading the Angels by 5.5. Tigers now trailing by 3 behind Kansas City.
Kansas City just continues to roll. They have really not had a stretch where they've lost a few games in a row, but you know it's coming.
Yeah, not yet at least. They were a little bit fortunate last night. They had their game called because of rain early.
They're doing it a different way this year too, not nearly using their legs as much as they have in the past, but they're relying on a little power this year and some extra base power.
Meanwhile, Carter is down on strikes. That'll be a big strikeout for Sanchez. 2 gone. We'll bring up Castro. A 3-run first for Houston today as they try and leave town with a split in this 4-game series. Castro is 3 for 6. He's knocked in a run. And he skies this one in the air toward the left, slicing away from Cespedes, still going back to the corner, to the wall. Yoenis Cespedes with a terrific running catch.
He had to run a mile to catch that baseball.
We'll go to the bottom of the first. 3-0 Astros. Well, the Tigers have some early work to do now. 3-0 in favor of the Astros. Their starting lineup today presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for Brad Ausmus, it's Ghost, Kinsler, and Miggy at the top. Miggy right now an 11-game hitting streak. JD, Cespedes, Castellanos, bottom three, Rajay Davis, Brian Holiday catching, Andrew Romine playing short. And they will face the right-handed offerings of Roberto Hernandez.
And Tigers saw a lot of Hernandez when he was wearing the Cleveland Indians uniform a few years back. He has a power sinker, although not throwing as hard as he used to throw, but he still gets lots of ground balls with that sinker. Also has an outstanding changeup with a lot of really good action on it. And he will throw a slider occasionally to the right-handers, not so much to the left-handers.
Hernandez, the artist formerly known as Fausto Carmona, in his days with the Indians, underwent a name change and also added 3 years to his age. Here is Ghost standing in, and he looks at ball one. So the Tigers have some work to do now as Ghost, having a terrific series, steps to the plate. 6 for 12 for Anthony. And it seems, Rob, that every day we watch this kid play, he's gaining more and more confidence.
He is having a lot of fun right now. It seems to be squaring up all the balls that are over the heart of the plate, not nearly leaving the strike zone as frequently and swinging at balls as he did last year in Toronto.
Well, Ghost admittedly wasn't having a whole lot of fun as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays, but he's kind of got a new lease on life here in Detroit. Playing every day, playing an outstanding center field. And Hernandez misses away.
He was joking with me this morning about that ball that he hit in last night's game against Lance McCullers, the straightaway center field that nearly left the ballpark. He said, Rod, that's all I got. I cannot hit a ball any harder than I hit that ball.
We figured as much. There's the strike, 3-2.
As a matter of fact, he was a little bit upset with himself because he said, you know what, I should have been on third base. But I was watching that ball. I thought when I was going to leave the ballpark, and he felt like because he didn't get to third base, that cost the team a run. So he knows that he made a little bit of a mistake yesterday.
3-2 is outside. Good start. Tigers get the leadoff man on via the base on ball.
He also told me he would never make that mistake again, and I believe him.
Today's field conditions are presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. It's 76 at game time. A little bit of humidity, not much really, to be honest with you. Mostly cloudy today, so that has kept it comfortable here with the cloud cover.
And today might be one of those days that we see runners get put in motion with as many ground balls as Hernandez throws. The last thing that Brad Ausmus wants to do is watch his team hit into double plays all afternoon long.
Here is Kinsler now after the leadoff walk, and Hernandez misses way up and in. He stands 6'4", 230 out of Santo Domingo.
He was an all-star back in 2010 and the Cleveland Indians opening day starter in 2011. Had some decent years for the Tribe.
Ghost draws the throw. Well, Kinsler is one of the Tigers that has not had a whole lot of success historically against Hernandez, just 4 for 22. But as we've talked about, one of the better ground ball pitchers in recent history in the game, and he'll try and get one right here.
Even further proof that Brad could start a runner here for Ian, help him out.
There he goes. Ball high. Throw down to second. Tag is in time. Ghost is caught stealing.
I don't know if that was a hit and run or not, but obviously if it was a hit and run, that's a mistake by Kinsler not swinging at the pitch. Tough pitch to handle for a hitter, but when you get the hit and run, you have to help out the base runner to the best of your ability.
Well, the Tigers came into this game leading the American League in steals with 41. Houston was next in line, but the Tigers will not add to that total. 2 balls, 1 strike on Kinsler. Ian just 1 for 13 in the series. Here's the 2-1. 3-1 and the Tigers' second baseman. Cabrera waiting on deck. And he lost him, ball 4.
And Tim Hortons will sponsor the Houston Astros defense this afternoon in the outfield. They've got Rasmus, Marisnik, and Springer. All three can run. All three have very good arms out there. And third to first, it's Valbuena, Villar, Gonzalez, and Carter. And Castro, he's the catcher once again here today. He's caught 3 of the 4 games in this series.
And Conger caught the first one. It's been Castro the last 3 days.
Well, he's already walked 2 today, so apparently he's a little wild this afternoon.
Strike 1 on Cabrera.
Miggy's got the dark glasses on today, and his numbers during the daylight this season are simply off the chain. 450 with 9 homers, and he's driven in 27 during the daylight.
Ooh, it's 0-2 now on Miguel, who really didn't like that call. And he's letting Bob Davidson know his feelings right now. Mr. Foxtrack says maybe a little up and in. Here's the 0-2. Way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A lot of history between these two. These are pretty good numbers. 3 homers. Also has a couple of doubles. 359 against Hernandez. Kinsler at first with 1 out. 3-0 Houston in the early goings here. This is the 10th major league season for Hernandez. Just off the plate, 2-2. There's a time, Rod, where it looked, at least early in his career, like Roberto Hernandez was going to be a perennial all-star.
Agreed. Had some heavy sink on his fastball at about 97. He was mean, too. Was not afraid to pitch inside. Had a nice breaking ball with a very good changeup.
There are the career numbers. 2-2. Pulled fair inside the bag at third. Off the sidewall it goes. Kinsler is on his way to third base. They will stop him there, and Cabrera has a double.
It's the 9th double of the season for Miguel, and now has a 12-game hitting streak. It's a changeup thrown here by Hernandez, which means it's a dangerous pitch, because that changeup, if you don't get it down in the strike zone, it kind of goes east to west in the strike zone, and that's a really good pitch for a dangerous hitter like Miguel Cabrera to get out in front of and hook down the left field line as he did there.
So a chance now for the Tigers to answer back here in the bottom of the first as J.D. Martinez stands in.
And Miggy's batting average well over 400 during the 12-game hit streak.
Martinez at 265, 3 for 12 in this 4-game series so far.
That batting average for JD starting to creep back up. He was down around 220 there for a minute.
Is getting more and more healthy by the day. He has a 3-run homer in this series, and he drives this one high in the air to right. Springer is under it. Kinsler will tag, and Cabrera will move up as well to third base. It's a sac fly and an RBI. 3-1 ball game.
It's a nice job here by J.D. Martinez, not getting greedy with the situations. Runners on second and third, something deep enough to not only score Kinsler but get Miggy over to third. Now a wild pitch or infield single could possibly score Miggy.
Cespedes will stand in. Yoenis a double. He has scored 3 runs in this series. Shift is on defensively. They played a pull on the infield. as Cespedes looks at ball one.
There are some teams out there that shift just as the Houston Astros shift, but when there is a runner in scoring position, they don't nearly create as many holes in the infield as the Houston Astros do. They still do not change when there's a runner in scoring position.
They don't care, do they?
No, they don't. And there are some teams that will shift, as I said, but in this particular case, Gonzalez, the second baseman, he'd be playing a little bit more closer to his natural position versus being on the shortstop side of second base.
Well, the Astros truly believe in the numbers and the odds that are presented by playing these shifts. There's a ground ball to third, foul. So regardless of the situation on the field or in the game, they're going to continue to play it like their numbers tell them to play.
Right.
And it's, I guess, in some ways a little bit gutsy.
Well, they've got the perfect manager to abide to those kinds of rules. A.J. Hinch in his first tour of duty as an Astros manager. His second opportunity as a big league skipper. He managed the Arizona Diamondbacks a few years ago.
Ground ball left side, base hit. That'll get a run in. Hard hit ball that he hit right through the left side of the infield.
Yeah, despite having three guys on that side of the infield and really not a whole lot of room in between Valbuena, the third baseman, and VR, the shortstop, but still, look at the room there. There's not much room to get one through there, which gives you an idea of how hard that ball was hit by Cespedes.
And just like that, a 3-2 ball game, and here it comes Castellanos. Yoenis gets RBI number 23, or a check at number 24 on the season. He'll draw a throw. Castellanos has a home run in the series, 2 out of 12. That's in for a strike. 0-1 on Nick. 8 RBIs in his last 11 ball games. Three runs, 3 hits for the Astros. 2 runs, 2 hits for the Tigers. Chopped foul, 0-2. We have seen, Rod, that Castellanos has gone through some really good stretches. He had a 9-game hitting streak earlier this year. I guess finding consistency is the next thing for Nick. What does he need to do to get there?
Well, it's all part of the maturation process. He's in year 2 of a big league career, and sometimes they call it a sophomore jinx. He just has to continue to make adjustments as the opposing pitchers have made adjustments to him. But the one thing he should never lose fact of, and that's still driving the ball the other way. That's when he's at his best. When he gets pull happy, he gets himself into a little bit of trouble.
Castellanos does have 19 RBIs this year. He's hit 4 long balls.
And he's displayed some power the opposite way in that ball he hit a couple of days here over the Astros bullpen was quite a poke.
The 1-2. Low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Hernandez was given a 3-0 lead. He probably walked the leadoff man, and although Ghost was caught stealing, he then walked the next hitter. It's been downhill since for him. Rajai Davis waiting on deck.
If you're the Astros, you want some action here on the 2-2 pitch. You don't want Hernandez to run the count to 3-2 against Castellanos. That would allow Cespedes to get a head start from first.
And that's exactly what will happen. 3-2.
Hernandez not throwing a lot of strikes so far here today. He has thrown 26 total pitches, and he has missed the strike zone with 14 of those.
Runner goes on 3-2, lost in ball 4. The third walk in the inning for Roberto Hernandez. Going to bring Brent Strom out. He doesn't look too happy. Hey, by the way, stay tuned for Tigers Live following the game. We'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by the 2 for $5 Mixer Match Filet-O-Fish and the 10-piece McNuggets. Strom, former major league pitcher, out to try and straighten out Hernandez. Rajay, another one of those Tigers that has good numbers against Hernandez. So much so that we're bringing you the Bernstein advantage, the pitcher-batter matchup between these two. And it's Rajay that has the Bernstein advantage to the tune of 429. 2 on and 2 out. Ball 1.
Have you ever met Mr. Bernstein?
I have. Several times.
Man.
Yeah.
Fine man. Great family.
Rajay at 278. 3 out of 10 in this series. Here's the 1-0. 1-1 on Davis. Rajay sits safely in 5 of his last 7. He is manning right field in this game. The Tigers kind of moving that DH spot around. JD is DHing today. And that's hit the other way, but backhanded by Carter. He's going to have to hustle to the bag, and he's safe. Bases are loaded. Big Chris Carter was no match for Rajay Davis. Not in a foot race.
Well, Davis was playing well off the bag when he made the play. And Rajay Davis simply beat him to the bag.
That's how close it was.
Take a look at where he is playing here when he makes the play here. He's right here, and he is well off the bag. If you're Hernandez here, there's no way he's going to beat Rajay Davis to the bag. So Carter simply had to take it himself, and Rajay Davis gets himself an infield single.
Well, now the Tigers have Brian Holiday up there with the bases loaded, 2 outs. And a chance to take the lead. Holiday cuts and misses. We've seen 5 runs on 6 hits. We've had 4 walks. We've had a balk. We've had a wild pitch.
We've had a wild one.
We've had a caught stealing, and it's only the first inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hernandez has still thrown more balls than strikes in this game. Holiday batting .310, 3 out of 10 this year as a Tiger. Drives one to left field. That's going to get down. 1 run will score. Here comes Castellanos. Davis rounding third. He's coming home. Brian Holiday clears the bases. A 3-run double for Holiday.
Hernandez has always been known as a good ground ball pitcher, but that's a 2-seam fastball that's right around the belt buckle. It allows B. Holiday to get out in front of it, and here he hits an absolute seed down in the left field corner, and it's going to be no problem for the speedster Rajay Davis, who's absolutely cruising to score.
Brian Holiday, his second double this year, 6 RBIs. 5-3 Tigers, and they will bat around here in the first inning as Romine stands in.
10 runs allowed in the first inning for Hernandez this year in 9 starts, so that's been an issue for him.
He slings one outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Romine. Manager's nightmare getting the bullpen up in the first inning. Buchanan, the right-hander, has pitched in this series. He is up early in this one. Romine nubs one foul off the end of the bat. 1-2.
And Tigers said they expect Iglesias to probably be out a couple of days after he banged knees yesterday. And with the first baseman Chris Carter, therefore Romine getting the start at shortstop this afternoon.
Now Hernandez set with the 1-2. 2-2 on Romine. Tigers answer the 3 spot from Houston with 5 of their own. Shaping up to be one of those days where fans of offense will enjoy it. Got him. Strike 3. Romine caught looking. That'll end the inning. It's a big one, though. 5 runs on 4 hits for the Tigers. Expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. By Jeep, come discover great deals during the Jeep Drive and Discover events. And by Maxwell House, good to the last drop. It is Kids Day here at the ballpark today as we celebrate our youthful Tigers fans. They'll be able to run the bases after the game if they choose to do so. A lot of face painting here at the ballpark. In the meantime, the Tigers putting on a show. Their offense is, at least. They lead 5-3 after 1 inning. And Sanchez goes back to work.
A very important second inning here for Anibal Sanchez. He needs to shut the Houston Astros bats down, and he needs to do it in an impressive fashion while his team has taken over this game.
Well, he's gotten ahead now of Jonathan Villar, 0-2. Well, when the Tigers score 5 or more this year, they are 16-1. 1-2 the count. Villar, Marisnik, and Springer coming up. Jonathan Villar, 3 out of 8 with an RBI in the series for the Astros, who are off to their best 44-game start in franchise history at 28-16. Ball high, 2-2 on Villar. Jake Marisnik waiting the on-deck circle. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. 1 gone. Well, regardless of what happens in this game, the Tigers right already have 1 victory today, and that's in the standoff.
Yeah, I've noticed some other teams doing this where the players will simply stay out there after the national anthem until they're ran off, and Bob Davidson ran off the Houston Astros players first today, right before the first pitch.
Jabba Chamberlain was leading the way for the Tigers. Had Shane Green out there. Tyler Collins was out there.
I've seen the St. Louis Cardinals. They do this just about every single night against whoever they're playing against. Yes, they do.
A little pregame entertainment here. Here's the 0-1 to Marisnik. Line to right field. And it's over the head of Rajai Davis. And Marisnik now is on his way to second. He'll stop there with a double.
And that ball misplayed by Rajai in right field. He has not played a lot of right field in his major league career. There are no excuses for him, though. He simply came in on this ball and had some backspin on it, and it carried over the head of Rajai Davis.
Well, it's a pretty good example, though, of how, even though you're a big league outfielder, you know, you do change from left to right. There are some nuances and some differences to those positions.
Oh, the ball slices differently if you're Rajai today in right field, opposed to playing left field where he did most of last year. Of course, in center field, you don't really get much sliced. It's the easiest position to play of the three out there because you can pretty much see the ball straight ahead.
Springer backs out of there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Already looks like Sanchez is going to do a little bit of what we pointed out in the very first inning. If he's going to have any success here today against Houston bats, he's going to have to make a few guys move their feet, as he did on that last pitch to George Springer.
Driven back out of play. 1-2. I have to fight myself every time we play the Astros not to call him Jerry Springer. I really have to fight him.
Really?
George, much more accomplished in many ways.
Now, you don't come off to me as a guy that was a Jerry Springer fan.
No, I wasn't, but we were just inundated with it every day for a long time.
He made some money, didn't he?
Yeah, I did. Did you believe everything you saw on that show?
Absolutely not. He was once the mayor of Cincinnati. Did you know that?
I did know that. And I've got no comment on that.
Yeah, Sammy Sosa would say, what a country.
Oh, boy. 1-2 on George Springer.
Yeah, you knew about a little bit more about Jerry than you let Lee know.
I don't know what you're talking about. Not at all. There's a ball inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sometimes it's just hard to look away from that stuff. You know what I mean? Sanchez retired the first batter, but then gave up the double to Marisnik. Here's the 2-2 coming home. And he got him. Strike 3. Springer is out of there. 2 gone.
Anibal Sanchez is a right-handed starter that is not afraid to use his changeup to right-handed batters. And it's not that he's trying to get a strikeout with it. It's the butterfly changeup, he calls it. He's just trying to disrupt the timing. And he does that of Springer, and he just couldn't pull the trigger. And the kid that we saw yesterday, Lance McCullers for the Houston Astros, he has a very good changeup. Once he starts to throw his changeup to right-handed batters, his life's going to be a whole lot easier in the big leagues, too. He's got a high ceiling. We saw that young kid yesterday.
Marwin Gonzalez hits the first pitch in the air to center field. Should get him out of the inning. And it does. So nothing comes of the 1-out double. We go to the bottom of the second. Tigers made some moves here today, and with that, we say hello to Johnny Kane.
Yeah, thanks, Mario. Tigers called up shortstop Dixon Machado from Toledo, provide a little depth there with Jose Iglesias potentially missing a couple with the knee contusion. Also, yesterday's starter Kyle Lobstein, he is on the 15-day DL. He'll undergo an MRI today. Buck Farmer will be called up to start in his stead on Thursday in Anaheim, and Justin Verlander Tuesday will throw a simulated game in Oakland. Guys?
All right, Johnny, thanks very much. Some movement on the Tigers roster today as Anthony Gose starts it off with a base hit.
Anthony Gose already has 7 games this year where he's gotten 3 or more hits in that contest, and he's looking like he's making a bid for number 8 here today with base hits his first 2 times up. Actually, Gose walked his first time up. Excuse me.
Well, it's all right. He'll get there anyway.
Got on base.
The way he's swinging the bat, he's going to get there. So Gose now is 7 for 13 in the series. Ian Kinsler has a walk, and he has scored a run. Bouncing ball left side of the infield, gloved by the third baseman Valbuena, and they're going to turn to the Tigers. Have hit into yet another double play.
Well, the Tigers have hit into a boatload of double plays already this year, and they've hit into a ton of them in this series, and I'll even go one further. They've hit into a triple play as they did yesterday.
Well, they've now hit into 48 double plays this year, which is not only the most in the American League, but in all of baseball. 5-4-3 on that one. 2 gone for Cabrera. In fact, yesterday, it was Kinsler that hit into the triple play. 12 games straight now for Miggy, and in that stretch, a .429 average.
And Miggy's going to have to get hot as far as the home runs are concerned, but man, there's not many guys that are walking around that are potential Triple Crown candidates every single year. It's amazing how good he is in every single department. The batting average, the home run numbers, and he's just simply an RBI machine.
Well, right now Nelson Cruz has 17 home runs to lead the American League. Miggy has 10. Here's the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Cabrera.
And last time that Miguel was up, Hernandez was able to get ahead of Miggy and with 2 strikes. Then he hung him a changeup that Miggy hit down in the left field corner.
One of the 5 Tigers hits. The Tigers got 5 runs on 4 hits in that first inning. After Roberto Hernandez was given a 3-0 lead, he promptly gave it back and then some. Bouncing ball left side. The shortstop BR. And Cabrera's out. That'll end the inning. No runs, a hit, and nobody left. Tigers baseball today, presented by Bell Tire. Well, the only way to get a 1945 replica road jersey is to visit Tigers.com/jersey and buy a special package to see the Tigers take on the Chicago Cubs June 9th and 10th. Exclusive packages are available only at Tigers.com/1945 And the statue of Hal Newhouser out there in left field. He was a part of that 45 team. MVP that year. Here is Luis Valbuena. He'll be followed by Gaddis and Rasmus. These are the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Facing Animal Sanchez. Valbuena bounced out his first time up. Pulled foul, and the count 1-2. 5-3 in favor of the Tigers. Final game in this series. Tigers trying to take 3 out of 4 against a team that came in red hot, the Houston Astros. Up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Valbuena. Bouncing ball right side to short right field. Castellanos has it. That play's becoming a routine for him. 1 away. Time for a game break. Here's Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thank you very much. Here's what it looks like in the West. The Astros with a 5.5 game lead coming in.
Oakland already 15 games under 500 and 13.5 games back on May 24th.
Weren't they like the best team in baseball the first half last year?
They were. Then they made that deal sending Cespedes to the Boston Red Sox, and their offense really never recovered.
Gaddis skies it in the air to center. That's going to be playable for Ghosts. 2 gone.
They do have the former Tiger killer on that team, Billy Butler.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He's probably still going to be currently a Tiger killer, too. I mean, the way he swings the bat against Detroit.
Right.
Regardless of the uniform. Here is Rasmus. Colby in the ball game has a walk. Sanchez, it seems, has settled in a little bit now as he gets a fly ball in the air to left field. That's going to make it a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, hits, or errors. Here comes the bottom of the 3rd. Tigers up 5-3 in this one as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here's our T-Mobile game changer. What do we have for you today? Well, we've got the highest percentage of ground balls among active pitchers, and you see that Roberto Hernandez is second on that list.
He's always had some good sink with his two-seamer. As a result, a heavy dose of ground balls thrown by Roberto.
And he used one to get a double play back in the second off the bat of Kinsler.
Since the beginning of the 2006 season, 2.3 ground balls for every fly ball thrown for Hernandez, which ranks him 6th in the majors.
That's why with guys like Hernandez, if you get a couple of guys on, you always know you're that one pitch away from getting 2 and getting out of the inning.
Yeah, it's a nice equalizer.
Got 3 ground balls in this game.
That one flyout came on the bat of JD.
One and 2 on Martinez. He's followed by Cespedes and Castellanos. The fly ball by JD produced a run in the first inning. Swing and a miss. Martinez is out on strikes.
Here's an indication of the action that Hernandez gets on the sinker at 90 miles an hour. Right off the fingertips and darting down in the strike zone, the swing and miss. And by JD.
Second strikeout of the game for the right-hander Hernandez. Here's Yoenis Cespedes. He'll be heading back to the team that he started with, the Oakland Athletics.
Right.
On this next road trip for the Tigers. Yoenis signed out of Cuba by the Athletics. There's a ball low and away, 1-1. Yoenis learned a lot of his baseball from his young age as a youngster from his mom, Estella, who was a terrific softball player. An Olympic softball player, to be exact. 1 and 2 on Cespedes, and she still watches Yoenis play nightly or daily on the television and always has batting tips for him.
That sounds like Miguel's story as well. His mom was a very good softball player. She played on the Venezuelan national team.
Ooh, he banged that one off his foot. Well, Mom can watch tomorrow from Oakland. The Tigers taking on the Athletics tomorrow. Our coverage begins at 3 o'clock with Tigers Live. Tigers and A's tomorrow at 3 on Fox Sports Detroit.
And Memorial Day matinee out in Oaktown.
Which means you'll be able to have a nice dinner tomorrow night in San Francisco.
There's a lot of places to go have a really nice dinner in San Francisco.
Ooh, they had him play perfectly there, back up the middle. And Cespedes is out. Gonzalez throws him out 4-3 on the putout. We'll bring up Castellanos. So after a bumpy first inning, both starting pitchers have settled in a bit now. Nick Watkins scored in the first. High fly ball. Deep right center field. Marisnik and the right fielder Springer. And Springer makes the catch, a 1-2-3 inning. You enjoy a cold one to look forward to. Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Ryan Holiday's had himself a big hit in this ball game, a 3-run double, which put the Tigers ahead 5-3, and that's where we stand. Sanchez goes back to work. Strike one on Chris Carter.
And Brian Holiday's also been able to settle Sanchez down the last couple of innings after Sanchez gave up 3 in the first.
Off the mask, and it's 0-2.
And hopefully it continues here today, but the Tigers have been able to keep this Houston Astros team in the ballpark. And they came into play today leading the world in home runs, but Tigers have been able to pretty much keep them in the yard.
Astros 62 home runs. Seattle was next in line with 53. Swing and a miss. That comes with the territory with Chris Carter. He has fanned twice in this game.
Anibal, with his skill set and his ability to throw all 4 of his pitches over the plate whenever he wants to, as long as he's locating at the bottom of the zone, he's going to get a lot of strikeouts. That's a little curveball that he flips up there that lands very softly in the glove of Brian Holiday.
Here is Jason Castro. They played a pull on Castro, who flied out to left field. Nice running play his first time up by Cespedes out in the corner and left. But here is the defensive alignment. Back him out of there again. 2 balls, no strikes. Swing and a miss, and he had a big rip there. 2-1. Jonathan Villar will be on, or is on deck. He'll be next. Nothing but zeros since the 8-run first inning combined by both teams. Swing and a miss.
Outstanding changeup there thrown by Sanchez at 83 miles an hour. But what sells the changeup is the arm speed that he's able to generate through his delivery. You can't tell whether it's a fastball or a changeup.
Got him. Strike 3. Castro. Watch that one sail by.
And the one thing that we were going to focus on today with Sanchez was, would he be able to keep the ball down? And so far, so good for him, other than the very first inning.
Did so there. Here is Jonathan Villar.
Seven batters retired in a row by Anibal Sanchez.
One of those was Villar. Actually, no. He struck out, then Marisnik doubled in the second, but he did get Villar via the punch out last time up, and now he's looking like he's got him set up again. 0-2.
It's also looking like he's going to have himself one of those double-digit strikeout performances here today, with the Houston Astros starting to swing and miss quite often. Cannot make a mistake here. No balls and 2 strikes.
Villar waits on a 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Villar is the defender that started that triple play for the Astros at third base in yesterday's game. Here's the 2-2. Ooh, just off the inside part of the plate. 3-2 now on Villar.
Here's where Sanchez, it can be tough on you, because he can throw you a changeup here or spot that fastball wherever he wants to. Here comes the changeup.
Good night. Strikes out the side.
I see you, Anibal.
6 punch-outs for Anibal Sanchez. Carter, Castro, Villar. Inning, Evan Gattis had a triple down the right field line to drive in a couple, then a balk by Anibal Sanchez suddenly made it 3-0, but Tigers would come back. Sac fly by J.D. Martinez cut into the deficit, and then a single by Yoenis Cespedes. Big blow though off the bat of Brian Holiday. He cleaned the bases with a double, scoring 3, and the Tigers with a big lead. Here's a bunt to the first baseman, and Rajay tried to butt his way on, but Carter will tag the bag for the out. 1 pitch, 1 away. Bring up Brian Holiday. That is 6 in a row set down by Hernandez now. Holiday's already had some big hits for the Tigers. He was called up on May 9th. He's already homered. That was in his first start. Second career home run. In fact, knocked in 3 in that game. He's knocked in 3 in this game.
And B. Holiday is a nice backup catcher. Did a nice job in that role last year, backing up Avila. Had to go to AAA this year because McCann was given that role out of spring training, but Holiday's back and producing.
2-0 is a strike, 2-1.
Brian's a good teammate. His teammates absolutely love him. And Brad Osman said in spring training it was one of the most difficult moves that he had to make all spring, telling Brian Holiday that he would not make the 25-man roster.
That's something he likes to do as well, bunt, but he laid that one foul.
Both Tigers catchers have the ability to bunt for a base hit. James has bunted a couple of times for hits this year already.
2-2 on Brian Holiday. Did he go? Yes. So Holiday is out on strikes, 2 gone. Here's Romine. Andrew, a strikeout to close out that first inning. The Tigers hit around in that first, 9 men to the plate. Romine got off to a really quick start offensively. Jose Iglesias out with a bruised knee. Dixon Machado, as Johnny Kane told you a couple of innings ago, is up with the ball club now to provide some backup. Romine has gotten some reps at short. Also defensively, a replacement at third late in games for Castellanos. One of those guys that has to come to the ballpark every day and try and keep himself sharp, because things like what happened to Iglesias yesterday just pop up. Jose stayed in the game after hitting his knee against Carter at first base, but later was taken out. The 2-1 drill to center field. Romine with the base hit.
In case you missed this yesterday, Iglesias running down the first baseline and bumped knees with Carter, their first baseman, and Carter's a big man.
Hopefully not a situation where it's too long for Iglesias. Anthony Gose stands in.
The Houston Astros outfielders are playing awfully shallow, and we watched Gose in yesterday's game hit one over the center fielder's head, Marisnik, all the way to the base of the wall at the 420 sign. So he's got some pop in his bat.
No balls, one strike on Gose. It's amazing because Anthony now has 13 extra base hits this year, and that already ties a career high for him. We're not even into June yet, but it just shows how much playing time he has gotten this year and how much he has taken advantage of that playing time. Came in batting .342 here in the month of May. Ooh, he spun his wheels a little bit, and Romine just got back.
Romine has had limited playing time this year, but when he has had a chance to play, he has stolen some bases, and it looked like he was trying to get a good jump to steal his 5th base of the year. He's been caught 3 times. He's been successful on 4 steals so far this year.
Drilled to right field, base hit, maybe more. Romine is on his way to third. Springer up with the ball. They're going to try and score Romine. Here comes the throw to the plate. He is safe. Goes into third base, and the Tigers lead 6-3.
What an outstanding job of coaching third base there by Dave Clark. Tremendous job sending Romine home there. We told you their outfielders are playing very shallow, and Springer was kind of shading, goes into the right center field gap. By the time Springer was able to get there, Romine was getting to the bag about the same time Springer was picking it up, and even though Springer has a strong arm, they forced the issue and they scored their 6th run of the afternoon.
Double for Gose. He'll take third on the throw. And it's 6-3 in favor of the Tigers. There's a strike called on Kinsler.
The Astros probably do get themselves a lot of outs because they overshift everybody, but they probably give up quite a few runs too because of the overshift. Springer was playing all the way over there close to center field, and that's the reason why he was not able to get to that ball and prevent Romine from scoring on a ball that never got even close to the wall.
Meanwhile, Kinsler finds himself down in the count 0-2. 2-out single by Romine got it started. Number 9 hitter, and he scores on the double by Gose, which by the way gives Anthony yet another multi-hit game. Kinsler a walk and a double play ball in this one. Swing and a miss. Kinsler strikes out to end the inning. Tigers get a 2-out run, though. Let's go to the 5th. Tire price period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads.
Menards brings you the big money encounter on Anibal Sanchez. First 26 pitches thrown today, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs. The last 38 pitches he's thrown, much more efficient in the strike zone. He's gotten a lot of strikeouts, and he's only given up 1 hit. And he's retired 11 of the last 12 Houston Astros.
Yeah, after that balk, 11 of 12 have gone down as Marisnick looks at ball 2. 2 balls, no strike.
Anibal struck out the side in the 4th inning.
Double back in the 2nd for Marisnick. That's pulled foul. Well, it was looking shaky there early on, wasn't it? Especially after that balk. They'd gotten 3 runs. Gaddis tripled in a pair. Then the balk scored another. But Sanchez picked himself up. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2 on Marisnick. Leadoff man Springer waiting on deck. Got him. Strike 3. 7 of them now for Sanchez.
Anibal starting to spot that fastball in the low 90s. He's got outstanding command, and most of those are down. But he got off to a slow start. We pointed that out. 3 runs in the very first inning, a wild pitch and a balk included. You can tell he was not necessarily concentrating. But after that, he has simply been on point with the fastball with pinpoint precision. All over the strike zone. That butterfly changeup has been a very good pitch, along with the breaking ball and the changeup.
George Springer likes to swing really hard, doesn't he?
Too hard, to be honest with you.
There's the 0-1.
He'll learn how to dial it back a little bit after he plays a couple of years up here in the big leagues. He's going to be an all-star multiple times before it's all said and done.
Single strikeout plus a run scored for Springer. That's in there. Springer didn't like it.
And Sanchez has got them all working now.
This is the Sanchez we saw 2 starts ago when he struck out 9 against the Minnesota Twins, giving up just 1 run in 8 innings. 2-2. Springer would not chase. Low and away. 3-2. And he walked him. So Springer ends up with a 1-out walk, which will stop the string of 9 straight that Sanchez had retired. He has 75 pitches now as we play here in the 5th. Marwin Gonzalez, single fly out, runs scored for Gonzalez.
Springer is a threat to steal. He already has swiped 10 bags this year. And that's been a troublesome area the last few years for Sanchez, holding runners.
Yeah, he got a huge jump, and Springer will steal his 11th. He had a running start there on Sanchez.
And B. Holiday had no chance whatsoever.
Springer had 5 stolen bases all of last year, 11 already this season. He did a lot of that in the minors. 1 ball, no strikes on Marwin Gonzalez. 2-0. Gonzalez had the game winner yesterday. RBI hit that gave the Astros a 3-2 win. Their bullpen did a great job. So did the Tigers, actually. But in the end, the Astros had 1 more run.
He's getting to a really nice arm slot with a changeup. He's not rushing with the body, therefore the arm is able to catch up, and he's getting on top of that changeup, and he's getting some nice action on the pitch as a result of the really good mechanics this afternoon.
Two and two now on Gonzalez.
Anibal, good success against Houston Astros in his career. 8 prior starts, 4 wins, 1 loss, an ERA of 2.15.
Strike called. Gonzalez, see you later.
And he's starting to throw that ball inside, and even though he might be missing just a hair with some of these pitches, his control and command have been so consistent that he's getting the benefit of the doubt. And from the home plate umpire, Bob Davidson.
That is strikeout number 8. Mentioned Anibal had 9 2 starts ago. That remains his season high. He's done that twice this year. Luis Valbuena batting with 2 outs. The career high in strikeouts for Anibal. You might remember this a couple of years ago against Atlanta, 17 here at Comerica Park. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That was a franchise record for the Tigers. Strikeouts in a game, 17. Valbuena, a couple of ground balls. 1 in the first, 1 in the third. Fouled away, 1 and 2.
Well, got him set up for his 9th strikeout of the afternoon, and he can get it with a variety of different pitches. All 4 of Sanchez's pitches are working today with perfection.
And once again, Valbuena calling time, stepping out on Sanchez. Now Anibal will step off. Tigers 6 runs, 7 hits. The Astros today 3 runs on 4 hits. Way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Evan Gattis waiting on deck. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Whoa, Sanchez with 9 now for the 3rd time this year. Tigers baseball today, presented by Bell Tire. Picnic or party at an upcoming Tigers game. Group picnics and party suites are on sale right now. Groups of 15 or more get discounted tickets to select games. 313-471-BALL is the phone number. Here come the Tigers now as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Glad you are with us here today. Tigers on top 6-3. The beefy part of their lineup coming up: Cabrera, Martinez, Cespedes. Strike called on Miggy.
And a good breaking ball there thrown by Hernandez. 84 miles an hour.
That's in the air to left center. It's going to be playable for Marisnik. Cabrera's out, 1 gone. J.D. Martinez. Sac fly to knock and run. 22 RBIs for JD. That was part of that 5-run first after the Tigers gave up 3 in the top of the first. Fans were barely settled into their seats, and it was 3-0. Here's the 0-1. 0-2 on Martinez.
It's a good pitch right here by Hernandez. Two-seam fastball at 89 with some good late life on it.
Hernandez was able to make the rotation this year out of spring training because of a strong spring. Was 3-0 and an ERA of 3.7.
Yeah, he wasn't guaranteed a job. He was a non-roster invitee.
Split time with the Phillies and Dodgers last year, going 8-11. The Astros decided to give him a shot. At one time, finishing 4th in the Cy Young voting. That was back in his days that we talked about earlier with the Indians. He was 19-8 back in 2007. And the 2-2 inside. 3-2 on JD. Foul tip into the glove. Strike 3. 5 strikeouts for the right-hander Roberto Hernandez. Here's Yoenis Cespedes with 2 gone. Yoenis has singled and not get a run back in the first. He's 1 for 2. And he is now 3 for 4 career against the right-hander Hernandez. Strike 1. And that base hit that Yoenis had in the first inning kind of defied odds. He found a hole against the shift. One ball, 1 strike.
Hernandez doesn't throw nearly as hard as he used to back in 07, 08, 09 when he was with Cleveland, but still has really good sink on that fastball.
Driven to center field. Marisnick diving play but can't get it. It'll roll past him. On his way to second is Cespedes, and he is in there standing up with 2 outs.
And that is a really nice piece of hitting by Yoenis Cespedes, and a really nice opportunity there for Marisnick to make a great play. But once he left his feet, his eye level changed, and because of the eye level was changing as he was diving, he wasn't able to grab that ball and squeeze the glove. That would have been a nice play. Should go as a double for Cespedes.
Hernandez thought he had it. Catch was not made. 2 base hit for Yoenis Cespedes. That's his 16th double. Another 2-out chance for the Tigers. Here's Castellanos. '16 doubles, leads the American League. Now the 0-1.
Hernandez has done a nice job of getting ahead of Tigers batters this afternoon. He is 17 of 24 in the first pitch department.
It'll bounce in and away from Castro. Advance the runner.
And Castro had absolutely no chance at blocking this breaking ball that Hernandez obviously gripped too tight. No chance whatsoever.
Right off his shoulder. Tigers got 5 in the first. They added 1 more in the fourth. That came with 2 outs. Rolled foul down the third base line.
What'd you end up barbecuing last night? What'd you put on the grill?
Steaks are always a good choice.
Is that what you had? Steak?
Yeah, it was good too. How about you? What'd you do last night?
I ate out last night.
You mean you got off that wallet?
I did.
Nice.
You act like I don't like to spend any money.
Here's the 1-2. High fly ball right field. Ball is hit well. Springer going back. Still going back to the wall. It's up against the wall. That'll get another run. Cespedes comes around to score. Castellanos a 2-out double.
Here is the Nissan drive of the game. We told you that the Astros like to play very shallow. Springer shallow in right field. Therefore, once he gets back to the wall, he can't turn and make a play. He's getting to the wall at the same time the ball is, and another 2-out knock for Castellanos.
That'll make it a 7-3 ball game, and the Tigers now have 9 hits. Here's Rajai Davis. Spray that one foul, back out of play. Phone call now being made to the bullpen as the Astros look at somebody warming. Rajai is single and 2 at bats. Infield hit first time. 1 ball, 1 strike.
6 of the 7 runs the Tigers have scored this afternoon have come with 2 outs.
Joe Thatcher warming up in the Houston pen. Yeah, clutch hitting today for the Tigers, no doubt. Little chopper to third, foul.
This Tigers offense, man, you just can't figure them out. They've already had 20 games this year where they have scored 2 or fewer runs. But then the games that they're not scoring 2 or fewer, they're just scoring runs in bunches. 7, 8, 9 spots they put on American League opponents this year.
Baseball doesn't work this way, but it would be nice to spread those out. It really has been feast or famine at times for this Tigers offense. The 1-2. 2-2 now on Rajai Davis.
Hernandez really doesn't have that legitimate put-away pitch, that legitimate strikeout pitch. Yes, he can throw you a lot of ground balls, which is very important when you're looking for double plays, but generally speaking, doesn't have that strikeout pitch.
That'll go foul again. So Hernandez now is gaining on 100. He has thrown 94 pitches in this game. Laboring through the 5th, an inning in which he got 2 outs, a fly ball from Cabrera and a strikeout of Martinez. Then back-to-back doubles. Bouncing ball to short. VR throws out Rajai. That'll do it. Tigers get another run, and we go to the 6th.
Austin took a stroll out to the mound in the first inning when Anibal Sanchez was struggling. He did not send the pitching coach Jeff Jones out there, but after that visit and by Brad Austin, Anibal Sanchez went on to retire 14 of the last 17 batters. So call of the game goes to the skipper this afternoon, Brad Austin.
Well, we go to the 6th inning. Sanchez still out there and looking good. 9 strikeouts. And he delivers high to Evan Gattis. Gattis, Rasmus, and Chris Carter. Gattis tripled in a pair back in the first inning. Sanchez with the 1-1. Drilled to left field. Ball hit well. Has a chance to go. Cespedes will watch it sail. It is out of here. Gaddis shoots one over the wall and left with a homer to go with his triple today.
It's a 9th home run of the year hit by Evan Gaddis, who went down to the bottom of the zone and hit a pretty good pitch. But he is some kind of strong. Oh my goodness.
Nice. How do you hit a ball that far with that swing?
Old school, no batting gloves, no stride, but a lot of power.
Big swing there by Colby Rasmus. 7 of the 9 home runs in the month of May now for Gaddis. Rasmus again waves and misses 0-2. Walk and a fly ball for Rasmus in this game. Here's the 0-2. We were having a chat with Steve Sparks, the former Tigers pitcher, who's now an analyst with the Astros, on their radio before the game about shifting, and got into a pretty good conversation about, I guess, the merits of shifting because Houston does it so much. Here's the 1-2. And that is tapped foul down the first base line. There's Steve Sparks. And one of the questions I posed, Rod, was if you're a hitter and you have a pitcher or a defense shifting against you to one side, doesn't that eliminate one part of the plate as a hitter, because you know the pitcher is going to pitch toward that shift, or at least should pitch that way? And that's something we were discussing before the game, whether or not that helps the hitter and eliminates the stuff he has to think about.
And I don't think it really matters with Houston because they shift on everybody. They shift when runners are in scoring position. I think they rely more on the tendencies of what the hitter does versus what their pitcher is supposed to do in pitching to the shift. So I think they just shift and they just take for granted that regardless of who the pitcher is, regardless of where he throws it, the hitter's data, which is a lot of data, is going to tell them that they're playing him the right way.
Well, that is the 10th strikeout now for Sanchez. That is a season high. Here are the numbers last year. They employed over 1,300 defensive shifts.
And that is a lot, and I mean a lot more than who shifted the second most.
There's a check swing. Did not go.
And A.J. Hinch, he wasn't even the manager last year of the Houston Astros. They started the year with Bo Porter.
Let's foul back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A.J. Hinch came from the front office of the San Diego Padres. They relied heavily on a lot of statistical data as well, so he was a perfect choice for this gig.
Carter, meanwhile, has found a hole to the left side of the infield. That's a single. 1 out base hit. 7-4 is the score, and now we'll get a call to the Tigers bullpen to get somebody warming. Jeff Jones has picked up the phone.
Tigers bullpen has been a pleasant surprise this year. They have been good, and especially in the month of May.
Yeah, the Tiger bullpen in May. How about this ERA? 1.22.
Is that good?
And that's good when you consider it's already the 24th. It's not like May 2nd. It's May 24th. It's fouled back out of play on 1.
I think Soria is the guy that's really solidified that entire bullpen with the success he's had at the back end.
Yeah, no doubt. And here's some other guys in the Lowe's Never Stop Improving stat. These are some of the guys that have improved here in the month of May. Albuquerque, man, he was good yesterday. Hardy, Wilson, Chaba, gotten some key outs lately.
Alex Wilson is working on a 12 consecutive game scoreless streak.
Speaking of which, here is Mr. Wilson. One ball, 1 strike on Castro. 2-1 the count. Strikeout flyout for Castro, although he made a bid for an extra base hit in the corner in the left that Cespedes ran down in the first inning. Otherwise, that 3-run inning could have been a lot bigger. Which I guess brings us to another point. The Tigers' defense has been much improved this year, which has also helped out the pitching staff. There is 100 now for Sanchez. Here's his breakdown.
And much better after the first inning for Sanchez. This is more like the Sanchez we've watched in the Tigers uniform since he came in that trade from the Marlins.
3-2 on Castro.
Here is our Xfinity high-speed pitch on Anibal Sanchez. Top fastball, 94. He's thrown quite a few at that velocity all over the strike zone today. 78 with a curveball. Really hasn't used his curveball all that much this afternoon, and he really hasn't needed to.
Swing and a miss. Sanchez gets strikeout number 11.
And Sanchez is on one today, and as soon as I say he really hasn't used that curveball all that much today, here comes one, and it's a dandy. You had a feeling this was going to be a really good matchup for Sanchez today, and we said as much at 1 o'clock. The numbers favored Anibal coming in, 4-1 in his career against Astros hitters, and they swing and miss a lot, and he has a legitimate strikeout pitch.
They strike out a lot. They swing and miss a lot. They have swung and missed a lot today. 11 punch outs. Saw Brad messing with his defense there, straightening him out with Jonathan Villar up there.
Yeah, Brad very much hands-on manager these days. He's got some really good coaches down there. He allows them all to work, but he is very much hands-on. Watches bullpens, catches bullpens. Working with Lobstein a couple of days ago on his move to first base.
Yeah, you said something there that really sticks out, though. Catching bullpens. Doesn't happen all that often when you see the manager go out there and catch.
I think he just does that to show off.
He probably does.
Yeah, just showing off.
Brad, before his meeting with the media today, came walking in. His shirt was soaked. I said, did you really work out, or did you just throw water on your shirt to make it look like you did? But he worked out, no doubt. Strike call. 2-2 on VR.
Yeah, same location as the previous pitch, which was called a ball by Bob Davidson.
And to get back out of play, VR stays alive.
Yeah, we'll see if Anibal goes with that butterfly changeup that he's located so beautifully away from some of these left-handed batters here today.
Well, VR has struck out twice already in this game. Do I hear 3 times?
Breaking ball.
Ooh, we just got a piece of it.
All right, change-up time now.
Astros get a run here in the 6th on the homer by Gaddis. Carter is at first with 2 outs.
Eva's changeup.
3-2
at 69.
Runner goes on 3-2. Ground ball, base hit right field. Carter will get to third base standing up, and it's a single for VR, so the Astros not going away.
Well, Wilson is ready, but Sanchez, stuff is still very good. Therefore, Jeff Jones is going to go out and have a conversation with Anibal, and they're going to stay with him in this situation.
So Jeff Jones makes his way out to the mound. We tell you, in honor of Memorial Day weekend, Fox Sports proudly supports Folds of Honor and its mission of providing educational scholarships to families of military members who have been killed or disabled while serving our country. If you'd like more information, visit foxsportssupports.com. Worthwhile cause. Well, Sanchez will go back to work now against Marisnik here with runners at first and third, and it looks like we may get a pinch hitter.
Preston Tucker is the pinch hitter who pinch hit in the first game of the series here and homered the other way into the Tigers bullpen against the Tigers closer, Joakim Soria. Tigers had to win that game in extra innings.
First blown save of the year for Joakim. And A.J. Hinch is hoping he's got another one in him right here to tie the game.
That's exactly why he has sent him up there.
Ball one from Sanchez in the dirt. Nice block by Holiday. Preston Tucker, 286 so far in the big leagues, was having a huge year down in the minor leagues. Wilson now joined by lefty Tom Gorzolani.
They say that Tucker has a brother that's going to be a high round draft choice this June.
Runner goes from first and is fouled off.
Oh my goodness, what a swing by Preston Tucker. He didn't get cheated, and for Sanchez you got to get the ball down. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Tucker's brother's name is Kyle, and apparently they're talking maybe a top 10 draft choice in the first round. High school player.
If he can hit like his brother, you can see why that could be a possibility.
Runner goes again. No throw from Holiday. Diving in safely, VR at second base. That'll be his fourth steal of the year. Now Tucker, if he can provide a base hit, could not get a pair.
And a ball back to the windup now, where he's been much more comfortable today. Oh my goodness.
Oh boy. Driven deep into right field, and Tucker has done it again. A 3-run shot.
Boy, you have got to be kidding me.
He absolutely crushed that ball, and we are tied at 7. Wow. The second time in this series, a pinch hit homer for Preston Tucker.
He went down and got a changeup in the happy zone of a left-hander, and he went all the way down to one knee. Look at the back knee. It is on the ground.
So Anibal Sanchez, who had righted the ship after the first inning, absolutely knew that that one was going to go. A long home run to right signals the end for Sanchez. Well set. has tied the game at 7. And now Alex Wilson coming out of the Detroit bullpen to replace Anibal Sanchez, who was bad, then great, and then really got rocked here in the 6th inning.
Positive numbers up and down for Alex Wilson since coming up from the minors. The ERA is sub-2, and he hasn't been scored upon in a long time.
Well, the Tigers now going to lean on that bullpen that has been so good. 3rd in the American League coming in ERA.
And both teams are going to have to lean on their bullpens because Hernandez, he's about done as well, the starter today for the Astros. It's usually the 7th and 8th innings that the Astros do most of their damage in games. They've scored a lot of runs in those innings, but today they start their comeback here in the 6th.
2-2 on Springer.
It's really a shame that Anibal Sanchez is going to leave this game with a no decision after pitching so well after the 1st inning with the amount of strikeouts that he was able to compile, but he just couldn't keep the ball in the ballpark, and that's been a problem for Sanchez this year.
Well, he's going to have a very strange final line. It's not often you see a guy strike out 11 batters and give up 7 runs. That is the case today. The Astros, with 2 more homers, lead the majors or the American League with 64.
Both of the home runs that Sanchez has given up today, both on off-speed pitches. One to Gaddis, and then that last one we just saw to Preston Tucker.
Full count on George Springer. We've had 9 extra base hits in this game between the 2 ball clubs. Got him, strike 3. Springer caught looking. 12 strikeouts for Tigers pitching. However, damage has been done. We go to the bottom of the 6th. All tied up. Well, thanks very much, Trev. Here, as we check out the standings in the Central, Tigers are trailing KC by 3, so they're trying to get some help from the Cardinals. And we've got a new pitcher now. It's a wall-side windows pitching change as the left-hander comes on. It's Joe Thatcher for the Astros.
He's a left-handed specialist out of the bullpen for the Astros, although he is not facing a left-hander here. He has made 15 outings already this year, and in 9 of the 15, he has pitched less than 1 inning. 11 strikeouts, 3 base on balls for Thatcher this year.
Strike 1 to Brian Holliday. Got a couple of changes as Tucker stays in the game. He'll play in left. Rasmus moving to center, and there's your new pitcher, Thatcher. Lifted back out of play 0-2.
Yeah, they don't really miss a whole lot defensively with Rasmus moving from left to center field. But they do lose a little bit of mobility in left field with Thatcher replacing Marisnik, who left the ball game. But they also got a 3-run home run off his bat. So as long as you drive in more than you're letting in, you're good.
The 0-2 sails high. 1-2 on Holiday. Romine to follow, and then Ghost. Brand new ball game. 7-7 is our score. Now the 1-2. Holiday in the air to left. That's straight at Tucker. One out. Bring up Romine. Romine had a 2-out single in the fourth, which gave the Tigers a scoring chance. And then Ghost doubled him in. Bouncing ball to short. That'll be routine there for VR. Thatcher gets 2 quick outs. Now Ghost, who again has another shot at a 3-hit game.
It would be the 8th time that Ghost able to accomplish that if he gets another knock.
Walked his first time up, single, double his last 2 times up, plus an RBI. And Thatcher stays away, ball 1.
Anthony Ghost still has not been able to sneak into the top 10 as far as batting average qualifications in the American League. I guess he does not have enough at bats.
I think he'd be there by now.
Got to be close.
It's 3.1 per games played. When determining if you have enough at bats, Ghost came in with 127 in the at bat column. It's fouled back out of play. Action in the bullpen for the Astros.
Thatcher holds left-handers to a .250 batting average, and he has not given up an extra base hit to a left-hander so far this year.
Ghost skies one in the air to left. Tucker backing up for this one. Going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Joe Thatcher. Tigers go quietly. We go to 7. 9th and 10th. Both games start at 7:08 p.m. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. The Cubbies are coming to town. Well, the right-hander Alex Wilson, 14 consecutive scoreless innings now. 4th longest active streak. It'll be Marwin Gonzalez to lead it off. 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Gonzalez, Valbuena, and Gaddis. Wade Davis right now has a 19-inning scoreless streak.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
There's a ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes on Marwin Gonzalez. Single fly out strikeout for Gonzalez. Pulled into right field, base hit. Second hit of the ball game for Gonzalez, and for the Astros, their 8th. Go ahead, run is on. We'll bring up Luis Valbuena. Oh for 3 for Valbuena. Well, with this defense, you would think that Valbuena is going to try and lay one down. You've got the shortstop, Romine, the only defender to the left side. Valbuena offering bunt there, but pulled it back. He has power. He's got 10 home runs. Romine now has moved to the grass. No sign of bunt there, and an awkward swing. 1-1.
Yeah, good cut fastball down and in, thrown by Alex Wilson. A lot of late life on this cut fastball. It's been a really good pitch for him.
One and two.
And Tigers pitchers have already struck out 12 batters here today. Anibal had 11. Wilson and struck out George Springer in the 6th inning. They're looking for number 13 now. Bakers doesn't.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. There's that Baker's dozen. 13 of them now for Tigers pitching.
It's a well located and cut fastball, same location as the first pitch that he got ahead of him with.
Well, here's a guy that's had a really good day, a triple and a homer and 3 RBIs for Evan Gaddis. 9 home runs and 28 driven in, yet his average is under 200.
He's got 30 total hits this year, and more than half of his hits are for extra bases. And Gonzalez over at first base has no steals. He's been caught once, which means if Wilson could work at the bottom of the zone, he might be able to get Gaddis to hit something on the ground to get a double play to get out of the inning.
Checked it, and a strike called. 0-2 on Gaddis.
Outstanding fastball at 94 miles an hour. Looked like Gaddis was caught by surprise. Gaddis sitting on something soft, sitting on an off-speed pitch. At least he was. Can't do it now.
Ground ball, base hit right field. It's his 3rd hit of the game.
Yeah, he's a double away from the cycle.
And that will leave runners at first and second with 1 out.
It's the second time today that Gaddis has gone to the bottom of the strike zone and taken a ball that's not a strike and been successful with it, getting himself a base hit. 0-2, defense mode, no stride, just trying to put it in play.
Here comes Brad. You've got Rasmus coming up. You've got the lefty Gorzolani ready to go, and we will get a pitching change here. So we'll step aside as Gorzolani comes in. Put together a threat here, first and second with one out, and the left-hander coming out of the bullpen, that would be Tom Gorzolani. And he will face Colby Rasmus. Here are the numbers on Gorzolani this year.
Averaging nearly a strikeout per outing this year, 12 strikeouts, 15 games, only 4 base on balls for Gorzolani. He has inherited 7 base runners this year, and only 1 has come around to score. He's got 2 of them out there he's trying to strand right now, left by Wilson.
Colby Rasmus, strikeout, flyout, walk in this game. Strike 1 on Rasmus. Astros have 2 players left on their bench, catcher Hank Conger and Jose Altuve. Swing and a miss, and that turned out to be a one-handed swing.
Left-handers are doing a little bit better this year against Gorzolani than the right-handers are.
Swing and a miss. That didn't take long. Rasmus retired. Gorzolani strikes him out on 3 pitches.
The only batter that Gorzolani will see here today. Fastball 90 miles an hour right down the middle.
Tiger pitching 14 strikeouts in this game. Carter is due next with 2 outs. Here comes Brad. Ausmus right now just having a chat. And he'll make the signal to the bullpen. Angel Nesbitt will be summoned in from the pen, so we'll step aside. Another pitching change here in Detroit. his job. Now it's up to Angel Nesbitt with 2 men on.
Angel Nesbitt has done very nice work pitching out of the Tigers bullpen as a rookie, and Brad really trusts him in these type of situations. He's inherited 14 base runners this year, and only 1 has come around to score. So Nesbitt's done nice work in these situations.
Well, he will have to get it done again here, and he's got Chris Carter coming up. Singled, scored a run in his last at bat.
And be careful with the very first pitch that you throw to Chris Carter. He is very, very aggressive at swinging at first pitches, but he's not the only one on his team that likes to feast and ambush the opponents on the first pitch.
Ball 1 high away. Gonzalez hits second and Gaddis hits first. They represent the go-ahead runs. Nesbitt's 1-0. Carter shoots it foul, back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Seven runs on 10 hits for the Astros. 7 runs, 9 hits for the Tigers. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Houston 3 for 11 with men in scoring position in this game. Tigers are 4 for 7. Big 3-run pinch hit homer by Preston Tucker tied this game in the 6th. And Nesbitt missed outside. Now it's 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch. He walked him, and that's going to load the bases now for the Astros. So Carter on base for the 2nd time in this game. Now it's going to bring up Castro. So Nesbitt walks the right-hander, now has to deal with the lefty. Although it's been a tough day for Castro, 0 for 2, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Gonzalez, Gaddis, Carter, your base runners. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Castro has 5 home runs this year, only 9 RBIs, trying to break this 7-7 tie in the 7th. Nesbitt ready with the 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jason Castro. Inning started with a single by Gonzalez, then a base hit by Gaddis. That signaled the end for Wilson. Orsolani came on, struck out the only man he faced. Popped up foul, back out of play. 1-2 on Jason Castro. Tigers bullpen in the month of May, a 1.22 ERA. Overall, 3rd best in the American League this year. We're in a jam here, though. The 1-2 pitch. Driven again, foul, back out of play. 36,449 in attendance here this afternoon on an overcast but very pleasant day at the ballpark. Tigers at one point had a 7-3 lead, then a 4-run 6th inning tied it up for the Astros. Again, Nesbitt with a 1-2. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good fastball there by Nesbitt at 95 miles an hour. He made Castro move his feet.
Dave Paugh's getting into it now, trying to get the crowd going. Here's the 2-2. Good block there by Holiday, but now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes and no room on the bases. Castro has worked the count in his favor. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jonathan Villar waiting on deck. Here's the 3-2. Driven down the left field line, foul. Astros get the advantage of starting the runners here, so anything in the gaps could score all 3 runs. Battle continues between Castro and Nesbitt. Driven to right field, base hit. Gonzalez scores. Gaddis right behind him. Carter will go to third. It's a 2-out, 2-run single for Jason Castro.
Really getting it done for the Houston Astros. A 7th inning or later is nothing new. They lead the majors with 80 runs scored, 7th inning or later. The next closest team 12 runs behind, so they've been picking on a lot of bullpens this year.
Another key hit for the Astros in this game. 2 RBIs for Castro. That'll bring up Jonathan Villar. And still not out of this inning. Villar pops it in the air to left center. Goetz is under it, and that'll retire the side, but it's a big inning for the Astros. They score 2. Coming up, the Dick Scout Automotive 7th inning stretch. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. And by Cherry 5-Hour Energy Shots, helping support Special Operations Warrior Foundation. Kids Day here at the ballpark. Get your face painted if you're a youngster. A gorgeous Sunday afternoon for baseball. The Astros, though, have the lead right now, 9-7. Here's the upcoming matchup presented by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning. It's on to the West Coast after this game where Jesse Hahn will face Shane Green.
Yeah, Jesse Hahn comes in with 1 win, 4 losses. Green's 4-2. Green last couple of times has gone out, pitched very, very well.
That series starting tomorrow in Oaktown. We have a new pitcher now. It'll be Josh Fields for the Astros.
And 9 1/3 innings so far compiled this year for Fields. The earned run average is sub-1, 16 strikeouts and 3 walks out of that bullpen.
Well, it's going to be Ian Kinsler to start things off. Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez down by 2. Fields ready to go to work, so the bullpens have taken over this one. The Astros have gotten to the Tigers' pen for a couple of runs. Fields hails from Athens, Georgia. He lives in Hull, Georgia. Kinsler is 0 for 2, double play, strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. And a foul back out of play, 0-1.
Fields a hard thrower out of the Houston bullpen, and 4-seam fastball gets up to 96 miles an hour.
54 appearances out of their bullpen last year, had an ERA of 4.45. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He has allowed just 1 hit in his last 8 appearances. 6 2/3 innings total in those 8 appearances with 10 strikeouts.
There's another heater. That one at 96 that misses high, 2-1. Two, 3, and 4 for the Tigers here in the 7th. Kinsler did not like it. Ian in the series now 1 for 15.
Everything 95 and above. And thrown from Fields against Kinsler.
On the ground to the second baseman. Gonzalez had it played right where he hit it. One away for Miguel Cabrera. Miggy is 1 for 3 today, doubled and scored. That was back in the first.
He misses with the first pitch breaking ball at 86 to Miguel Cabrera, so he may have to come in and throw Miggy one of those fastballs in the mid-90s now.
Nope. 1-1. Cabrera doubled in his first at bat, giving him a 12-game hitting streak. Another one that he spins up there, but it misses high, 2-1.
Yeah, Miggy has the entire right side of the infield, with the exception of Carter, and the first baseman on that side. It is not unusual for Miguel to hit a ball right where the vacated second baseman should be.
There's that mid-90s fastball, and it's 2-2.
And Miggy upset with himself that he missed that fastball.
Got him, strike 3. Cabrera caught looking, and it few words for Bob Davidson before he heads back.
It's our Bill Tyer pitch by pitch. Back-to-back breaking balls, 1-1 count now, and he finally throws Miguel a fastball on the 2-1 pitch that Miggy swings right through, and then he freezes Miggy with a breaking ball that Miguel thought was outside, too close to take with 2 strikes. Ever so slightly pulled back into the strike zone by the catcher Castro.
Martinez drills one in the air toward left center field. That ball hit pretty good. It's going to go up against the wall. JD is on his way to second with a 2-out double. So Martinez gets his first hit.
And JD went up there sitting on this 4-seam fastball, and he jumped all over it.
Now Cespedes with 1 swing can tie it.
Tigers have scored 7 runs already here today, and 6 of the 7 have come with 2 outs.
Single double RBI for Cespedes. He has also scored a pair. Oh, and 1. Fields takes over for Thatcher, who had an easy 6th inning, 1-2-3. Their bullpen had retired 5 straight prior to that double. And now Fields has gotten ahead 0-2. So Cespedes with 16 two-baggers this year, which leads the American League.
Yoenis will be a free agent after this year is over.
Tigers give up Porcello to get Cespedes and Alex Wilson. Stayed away 1-2. I get the impression that Yoenis likes the clubhouse here and really kind of likes the feel of being a Tiger.
He said as much about 3-4 days into spring training, how comfortable he was and would love to stay a Tiger for a number of years.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He dusted him. 96 up at the letters. 2 strikeouts for Fields. 7 in the books. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, or see it simulcast right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Tigers down by a pair of runs as we go to the top of the 8th inning here at the ballpark. It's 9 runs, 11 hits for Houston, 7 runs on 10 hits for your Tigers. Angel Nesbitt back to the hill. Preston Tucker will lead things off. Tucker had the big pinch hit 3-run homer in the 6th. That tied the game up, and Houston has since gone ahead.
Now here is that big home run. Came on the changeup down in the happy zone of Tucker, who took a huge swing and connected. Preston Tucker now one of 5 major league players that have hit multiple home runs this year as a pinch hitter. I didn't think the number would be that high.
Yeah, me either. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mentioned his brother is going to be a high draft choice this year. His brother, though, is not nearly as well beefy as Preston is. He's much more lanky. But they can both hit. Tucker waiting on a 1-1. Slice to left field, base hit.
This much we do know. Tucker can hit a little bit.
That he can. And so the Astros get the leadoff man on, already leading by 2 here in the 8th inning. That'll bring up Springer. A 1-for-3 game for Springer, who has walked, he has singled, he has stolen a base, and has scored a run.
Houston really does not sacrifice all that much as a team. Only 6 sacrifice bunts this year for Houston as a squad.
Springer lays it down. He's going to get the job done here. Nesbitt will tag him out. Sacrifice works.
And because they don't bunt all that often, here's Castellanos in a bunting situation, and Miggy obviously has to hold the runner on, but they thought that the last thing Springer would do would lay down a bunt, but he did so, getting a runner into scoring position.
That is the 12th hit for the Astros. Marwin Gonzalez had a nice day, couple of singles, couple of runs scored. Got things started in the 7th with a base hit. Ball 1.
That's where Houston's done most of their damage this year. 7th inning or later. Nobody in baseball has scored more runs than their group.
Ground ball first base side, that'll go foul.
I guess today's game is pretty much an epitome of what the Houston Astros offense is all about. They strike out a lot and they hit a whole lot of home runs, and it's usually a good thing for them when they're able to turn the game over to their bullpen.
Yes, sir. They've hit 2 home runs and they have struck out 14 times in this game. 11 of those by the starter. Was that Sanchez total? No, he had 11 before departing. There's a throwback and the runner in there.
Yes, he did have 11. Yeah, their season high in strikeouts this year is 16. That came against the Cleveland Indians. Trevor Bauer has started that game for the Tribe. He struck out 11, and their bullpen struck out the other 5.
Some AL ranks for the Astros offense. Drill to right field. That's going to drop in. Base hit. Rajay plays it on 1 hop. They're going to try and score the run. He stuttered around third base, but he'll score anyway. And now Gonzalez gets himself in a rundown. Nobody covering second base. There's the catcher Holiday who tried to make a play.
That's a nice heads-up play by Brian Holiday, who nearly was there to apply the tag to Marwin Gonzalez.
Tucker stuttered around third. Didn't look like he was going to score, but he came in, and now Gonzalez is hurt. Gonzalez got himself in a rundown to try and help score that run, and on that play at second base, well, we'll take a look at it, see what exactly happened.
Just a nice job by Brian Holiday, just knowing the situation, knowing that nobody's in at second base because of the shift. And he's able to get there. Nice throw by Miggy. And not sure what happened there, but again, good effort there by Brian Holiday.
Didn't really see anything, did you? Maybe right at the end there when he landed on it, but didn't seem like it was anything bad. Single RBI in the play. Gonzalez gets himself to second base, and here comes Brad. He's going to make another pitching change. So the Tiger bullpen that has been so good this year has been touched up as Blaine Hardy will come in now, and we'll be back. He is called out of the bullpen.
Blaine Hardy is pitching in his 18th game this year, 324 earned run average. Pitched very well for the Tigers the second half of the year when he was finally recalled from Toledo.
And so Hardy will go up against Luis Valbuena. They've got a runner at second with one out, a run in. 13 hits now for the Astros.
13 hits, and their leader, their best offensive player, Jose Altuve, not even playing today.
Ball one high to Valbuena. A mental day off for Altuve, who was having such a bad series, but his teammates have picked him up. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 on Valbuena. Well, the Astros have 13 hits, but he does not have one of them. Here's the 2-0. Big rip there by Valbuena. A couple of strikeouts, a couple of ground balls for Valbuena. He was picked up from the Cubs for Dexter Fowler in the offseason. Now Hardy will step on. Four in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth for the Astros. Valbuena is muttering right now at Bob Davidson.
Still talking to him. And Valbuena better be swinging at this next pitch.
No doubt. Here's the 2-2. He's swinging and he pops it up. Shallow left field. Cespedes coming in. Valbuena's out, 2 gone. Well, here's a guy the Tigers have had trouble getting out today. He's a double away from the cycle. Evan Gattis, a single, a triple, and a homer.
They've got a base open for Evan Gattis if they don't want to pitch to him.
And they're going to take it. They'll walk him intentionally. With the lefty Colby Rasmus waiting on deck. Colby's had an 0 for 3 day with a couple of strikeouts. They'd rather go after him with a lefty Hardy.
Yeah, Rasmus, his last at bat, and came against Gorzolani. It was the only batter that Gorzolani faced today. He struck him out.
So there's ball 4, the intentional walk. Put runners at first and second. And a chance for Rasmus. First time Gattis has been walked intentionally. Tigers will shift now. There goes Castellanos racing over to the right side. Drilled right at Castellanos. Took a base hit away from him. Shit worked that time. A run in as we go to the bottom of the 8th. (10-7) ball game as we go to the bottom of the 8th here at Comerica Park, and with a preview of today's Tigers Live post game, here's Johnny Kane.
Well, Mario, certainly one of the topics of the post-game show will be Anibal Sanchez's last start. We'll hear from him and certainly hear from the manager, Brad Ausmus, as he talks about the end of this series, the final game of this series here against Houston. Of course, complete highlights of this one as well. The guys in the studio will get it all started, that being Trevor Thompson and Craig Monroe. I'll send it back to you.
All right, we look forward to it. In the meantime, Tigers have some work to do here. They are down now by 3 runs, and the Astros will send a different part of their bullpen out to work the 8th, and that would be veteran Chad Qualls.
And Qualls pretty much sinker slider. He's not going to overpower you with his fastball, even though he's been able to compile 21 strikeouts this year against 3 base on balls. He's always around the plate.
And Castellanos leads it off and looks at ball 1. Bottom of the 8th is underway. Nick is 1 for 2, double, walk. He's knocked one in. Thatcher had a 1-2-3 sixth. Fields came on, gave up a double in the 7th, but no damage. And now Qualls here in the 8th. Two and one on Castellanos. Tigers have 7 runs on 10 hits today, yet they trail by 3 in the 8th inning. Here's the 2-1. Ground ball left side. It'll find a hole. They had overloaded the left side of the infield with 3 defenders, yet he still found a hole.
It's the second time today the Houston Astros have overshifted on a right-handed batter in the Tigers lineup today, and they've been able to hit one in the exact same spot. Yoenis Cespedes did it earlier in this game.
There's Rajai Davis. A ball outside to Rajai Davis. Holiday due next, but Collins has moved to the on deck circle. Bouncing ball to third base. Short hop play. We'll get the out at first as Valbuena thought about going to second.
Take a peek at the Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. It came back in the 3rd inning. It was Brian Holiday. First inning, excuse me, Brian Holiday doubling down in the left field corner to drive in 3.
So Collins now to pinch hit. Runner at second with 1 out. 10-7 Astros here in the 8th. Ball 1 to Collins. Tyler had not homered down in the minor leagues prior to his call-up. Well, he did a lot of that in the minors the last 2 years. Swing and a miss. 1-1 on Collins. Two for 10 so far in the majors this year for Collins. Castellanos the runner at second, 1 out. Bouncing ball foul, 1-2.
The only home run hit in the major league career by Tyler Collins. It came in a pinch hitting role. It was in Cleveland very late in the season when he had been recalled from the minor leagues. Austin Adams gave that home run up to Tyler Collins.
Another one here would make it a 1-run game. Popped up, and it appears there's going to be room. There is. It is caught by Castro. Collins is out. 2 gone.
I always like to take opportunities to teach the young catchers out there. This is done perfectly by their catcher. You can hold on to the mask until you find out exactly where the ball is going to be. And then you throw that mask away from the area that you're going to make sure that you don't step on your mask. Nice job there by Castro.
So it'll take a 2-out hit now from Romine, who had a single in the 4th. Backed him out of there. 1 ball, no strikes. 313 now for Romine this year with the bat. Filling in for Iglesias, who got the day off today. Romine drops down a bunt. He's going to get it past Qualls. That's going to put runners at first and third.
Usually when there's a right-handed pitcher on the mound, they kind of fall toward the first base side of the rubber, and most guys won't bunt. And where he bunted this ball, Romine, but just a really nice job of him doing so because of the fact that Qualls doesn't fall off toward that side. It's a great observation there and beautiful execution by Romine.
So here is Gose as the tying run. There is action in the bullpen. Tony Sipp warming up. Two more hits for Gose. Single, double. He's also walked. Ball one. 13 Tigers hits. On the outer edge, 1-1 on Gose. Tell by his body language he didn't like that call either. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Kinsler waiting on deck. Tigers have something going here with 2 outs. You're down by 3 in the 8th. Way outside, 3-1.
Well, if you're Anthony Gose here, you can take one shot at trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark or find a gap somewhere. You're going to get a fastball to hit. It's going to be right around 89, 90 miles an hour. You might as well take your best swing at it. Ooh. It was 90, but it had some movement on it. Buckled the knees of Gose. Swing back action fastball.
Three and 2. Bouncing ball to second. That'll get him out of the inning. Gose is out. So are the Tigers in the 8th. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. To the 9th we go. Well, that is good news. Thanks, Trev. Hopefully that score will hold up. The Tigers trail here 10-7 as we go to the top of the ninth. And the Tigers have a new pitcher, Al Albuquerque.
Yesterday, Albuquerque pitched 1 2/3 innings and had 4 strikeouts while he was out there. 4 of his 5 outs via the strikeout. Albuquerque's earned run average continues to inch its way down. He got off to a miserable start this year, but he's pitched much better lately.
He will face Chris Carter to start things off. James McCann has come on to catch. They pinch hit for Holiday, so he's out of the game. McCann behind the plate. Carter looks at ball 1 high. A single and a walk in this game for Chris. He's also fanned a couple of times. Seven unanswered runs by the Houston Astros after they fell behind at 7-3. 2-0 on Chris Carter. In there, 2-1.
It's been a nice 2 months for the new manager, A.J. Hinch. And pushing all the right buttons. His Houston Astros, one of the best teams in the American League. Preston Tucker making him look awfully smart in this 4-game series.
No doubt. He pushed that button twice and came up jackpot with a couple of pinch hit homers.
Trey Hillman is the bench coach of A.J. Hinch.
High fly ball. It's into left field where Cespedes is cruising in. 1 out. Here were the best American League records at the start of play today. Royals, as we just showed you, are trailing the St. Louis Cardinals. They came in at 28-14, and then you got the Astros.
3 surprise teams on that list. And the Astros, the Twins, and the Tampa Bay Rays. And it just goes to show you that there's a lot of parity in baseball these days. No one picked those 3 teams to contend this year. I know it's early, but still.
Well, these Astros just a couple of years ago, 2 seasons ago, lost 111 games. They finished 45 games out of first place. Then they improved last year. They won 70 games. And they have continued their northward arc in terms of wins with a really good start this year.
And with each win, they just continue to build a lot more confidence, and they're going to force their general manager, Jeff Luhnow, into probably going out and getting them a starting pitcher here if they continue to stay right where they're at in the American League West.
You always have to, don't you?
Well, I mean, you've got a team that's playing very well. You might as well go out and get somebody.
Swing and a miss by Castro.
There's been a lot of whispers out there about Scott Kazmir, who the Tigers will see out in Oakland. Kazmir's from Texas.
Two balls, 2 strikes. One out, nobody on here in the 9th. Swing and a miss.
Albuquerque's got that real good slide piece working these days. Let's take a look at the big boy, big play of the game. We were talking about Preston Tucker. He has pinch hit twice in this series, and he has homered twice in this series. That was the last pitch that Sanchez threw this afternoon.
Tucker would get a chance to hit here in the 9th if VR can reach. He's up there with 2 outs. A couple of strikeouts, a single and a fly ball for Jonathan VR. Little chopper to the shortstop. Romine has it. Belt high, throws him out. 1, 2, 3 for Albuquerque. Another good outing for Al. There we go to the bottom of the 9th. At the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews. Got radio broadcasts, StatCast, got a whole lot more as well. Get MLB.com at Bat on your smartphone or your tablet. The last call now for the Tigers. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, down by 3 runs. Here is the closer for the Astros. That would be Luke Gregerson.
And Gregerson got his 11th save last night against the Tigers. He's 11 of 12 now, 3.86 earned run average. 16 strikeouts for Gregerson. He's only walked 5 batters this year. Pretty much sinker slider.
Tigers are going to have Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez, so they've got some artillery coming up here.
The Houston Astros, they have an outstanding bullpen. We've well documented really just how good they've been this year. Only the Kansas City Royals are better, but their setup man Qualls and their closer Gregerson, they're not your prototypical setup and closers. Neither guy really throws all that hard, 91, 92 top fastball, but yet they're having a lot of success. They rely on movement more.
Well, and this is no disrespect, but coming into the season, Rod, if you were to look at the names that the Astros have on paper, and you would look at this bullpen and go, okay, it's a pretty good bullpen, but it's not a lights-out bullpen.
Right.
And they've almost been that way this year.
Yep. I mean, their guys, they're hard throwers. They kind of pitch in the 6th, in the 7th innings for A.J. Hinch.
1 strike on Ian Kinsler, trying to get things started here, down by 3 in the 9th. Here's the 0-1 from Gregerson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Former San Diego Padre Gregerson. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Kinsler. 5 years for the Padres for Gregerson. One of those years he pitched in 80 ball games. Last year with Oakland. Had a really good year. ERA a little over 2 in better than 70 appearances. Swing and a miss. Man, Kinsler going through it right now. Down he goes.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, and it is brought to you by Miller Lite. Tigers had a lot of bright moments in this game, and Miguel provided one of those moments. It was his first time up today. He got himself a double down in the left field corner. It was the extension of a 12-game hitting streak also for Miguel.
400 in that hitting streak of 12 games. Miggy drills one deep to left. That ball is out of here. 10-8 ball game.
Big 90-mile-per-hour sinker in the happy zone of the big fella.
Number 11 for Miguel as he sidesteps third. That'll put a little bit of a charge into the crowd.
Little two-seamer that Miguel opens up the hips on, and he's able to pull that barrel through the strike zone, and his hand-eye coordination is really second to none in the big leagues.
One more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. J.D. Martinez looks at ball 1. Number 401 for Miguel. One ball, 1 strike on J.D.
Miggy must have went up there looking for this little two-seam fastball at 90, because look at how he opens up his hips here. He opens up the hips, but the shoulders stay square, as an indication that Miggy had an idea that Gregerson was going to try to get ahead of him with that pitch. And Miggy would be there sitting for him every step of the way.
Ripped into left field, base hit. Martinez has his second hit. Now the tying run comes up.
That's the 3rd time that the Tigers have gotten a base hit today, right in that exact same spot.
much different look tonight for Gregerson, who had him 1-2-3 in the ninth inning yesterday with a couple of strikeouts. He breezed through the ninth, but trouble today. 10-8 ball game. Tying run coming to the plate. Here is Yoenis Cespedes. Ball one.
And Tigers do have a couple of guys on their bench that have a little bit more speed than J.D. Martinez, but right now his run is not all that important.
Here's the 1-0. In there is strike 1-1 on Cespedes. Tigers now had 14 hits, one more than the Astros. One out home run by Cabrera. Martinez singling to left. Ground ball foul.
If you're Gregerson, the one thing that you want to accomplish here is you want to make sure that you make Cespedes use the biggest parts of the ballpark here, center field, right field. Of his 5 home runs, every last one of them have come to the pull field. They're playing him very deep and straight up in the outfield.
Fouled away. Cespedes doubled with 2 outs in the 5th and scored his 16th double-A in American League high. And Gregerson now is ahead of him, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Crowd getting back into it. Crowd at more than 36,000 here today. And again the 1-2. We just got a piece. Cespedes still kicking.
If you're Yoenis, you've got to force yourself into staying back against Gregerson. Gregerson not going to try to overpower you with a fastball inside, nor does he have the velocity to overpower you with a fastball inside. So if you're Cespedes, you have to guard yourself against being too aggressive and swinging at a breaking ball that bounces in the dirt. Here's one of those situations where you really have to trust your hands and not try to do too much.
We just got a piece of it to stay alive. Barely. Gregerson this year is 11 of 12 in save opportunities. Castro flashing the signs. 1 on, 1 out, 2-run game. Off the end of the bat, foul. The Astros have won all 19 games that Gregerson has appeared in this year. But the Tigers are threatening thanks to a Cabrera home run. And a single by Martinez. Swing and a miss. Struck him out, and Cespedes is out of there. So it's going to leave it up to Castellanos. Second strikeout for Gregerson.
Yeah, the one thing that Gregerson was going to accomplish against Cespedes here, he was not going to give him anything inside that he could pull. Everything away from Yoenis. You could see him pulling that front shoulder off. Finally, Eric Gregerson able to get him to swing and miss with a breaking ball down.
So here's Castellanos with 2 outs. Ball 1 to Nick. Double, knocked in a run back in the 5th. He's also singled in this game and walked. Then a good day for Nick. He can get even better here. 10-8 Houston trying to gain a split in this 4-game series. Bouncing ball to third. That's a fair ball. Gobbled up there by Valbuena. And the Astros will hold on.
Houston Astros are for real. They've come in here and gotten a split in the Tigers' house.
10-8 your final score as the Astros come back down 7-3 in this game and win this one by 2. We'll be back to Comerica.